You never know when you have introduced yourself and was kind to someone and said hello to someone. You never know when that person could someday come back and help you. What I say before, you treat everyone like they're kings and queens. You don't treat anyone differently, and you be kind and open and honest. And I'm just telling you that networking, I network all the time. I have a method. I have a figure eight. I'll go to a party and I will walk the room from corner to corner, from side corner to corner. I will constantly be walking. And I'll show you this right now. What are you doing to master the art of networking? Have a firm handshake. Obviously, that's changing. I hope someday we come back to firm handshakes. But you got to still make direct eye contact with someone. You still got to look at them. You know, what distance. You hand out your business cards and always ask for theirs. You be the great white shark, always moving, meeting people, and listening. Work the room. I never stop moving until you've met as many people as possible. Now, obviously, for right now, a lot of stuff's going to be virtual right now. But that doesn't mean that when you're on these calls and you're talking to someone, you're still networking. I'm still doing just as much networking when I'm making a phone call to someone than I am in person. Remember, a phone call, an email, a text is the same thing as being face-to-face. You're just using a different communication steps, okay? You're writing something or in writing, okay? Or you're going to be more verbal than you've ever been, okay? And you're going to write more than you've ever written, okay? That's okay. You want to talk like you talk and you walk the walk and you want to put them together. So however you did when you were face-to-face, there's no different. You just can't see me maybe as much. Whatever I see this pretty face as much as you want, but I'm still going to say the same things in words. So you got to be better on creation of that language with people. You've got to use constant conversation, consistent conversation, and correct conversation. And we could talk about that too. So, Jack, any things coming in at this moment?
Well, so you mentioned a little bit about networking for introverts. I was wondering if you had, wondering if you had any maybe more introverted or related advice.
Well, no, that's a great question, because think about this now. With COVID-19, an introvert can succeed. Why? Why would an introvert succeed in COVID? Because you don't have to be as much face-to-face. So why can't you use your skills, your creative writing skills, your other types of skills to get to know someone, okay? Because usually an introvert doesn't like to talk as much, right? Like my wife, but my wife has also learned that business through her nonprofit, because she still has to go out and fundraise. I can talk about what I've heard the definition of fundraising is, but what I'm saying is that's still in the business of sales, okay? And getting to know people. It's funny. It's taken her slowly. So that introverted person on this call can slowly get there. It takes baby steps. She took baby steps. She'd meet one person, maybe a second person. She would finally get up enough nerve to make that phone call, okay? But she was a really good writer. So she would say what she needed to say in the emails, in the text messages, in the notes. So she gives a personal note every time at the bottom of her fundraising things that, hey, John, I met your wife. And she's not the extrovert that I am. Okay, but she doesn't have to be, because she's found her skill within there to utilize it. So I think some of those steps you could start to doing as a quiet, unassuming person, because you don't have to be as talkative per se in this new world of COVID. You just have to be more creative and more willing to put yourself out there with writing things and sending out things to people and those kind of things like that. So, and really, to be honest with you, most of the time, like I said, when you get on these calls or these phone calls, they don't last long. So my daughter doesn't like talking on the phone. A lot of young people don't like talking on the phone. But the thing about it is you got to learn those skills, even if it's for a 5-minute conversation. And you really got to have your messaging down, as I call it. I stand up in front of the mirror and I practice all the time. I also go down the street and I'll be driving and I will walk through exactly my preparation. People think I'm kind of silly when they're looking over and think I'm talking to myself. At least I'm not answering myself, at least most of the time. But so those are little techniques too that I do all the time. I get up in front of the mirror, or I'll talk as I'm going somewhere to prepare. Those kind of things. Because if you're prepared, the more prepared you are, the less that introvertedness is going to surface. Meaning you're going to become so confident and so understand what you do. It kind of works just fine. I wouldn't call my wife today. Well, I guess you could say my wife is still an introvert, okay, technically, but I don't see it anymore. How she interacts with people, how she fundraises. I think she got a tough gig. Everyone on this call that's nonprofit, I want to bow down to you. That's a tough gig before COVID and after COVID. But you know what? It's a joyful thing, and about fundraising. It is joyful, and I can talk about that too here shortly. So, and does that kind of help, Jack?
Absolutely. I think that sounds great. It almost sounds like what you're suggesting is having introverts kind of practice maybe a pitch or some sort of, something that they could just kind of pull out from their back pocket instead of feeling like they have to, have something original and witty and amazing in every single interaction.
Or the other thing is you can be a great networker and still be an introvert. And I mean is you just know that someone who knows someone who knows someone can help you. I mean, my wife's always listening to my conversations, or if I introduce someone and there's a connection between fundraising and her, I introduce her or bring her into the picture, and the conversation begins. So I think that the more people that you try to reach out to, and at least put an email out to, let's say you learned of them. Oh, I've heard that you run this kind of fundraiser. I'd love to pick your brain. My wife's doing right now a virtual trivia fundraiser, What a creative idea. Because they couldn't do a golfing event. But that was because she networked with somebody else and heard this. It's kind of like it goes back. You just never know who you're going to meet. And that's why you want to do the thing of, you want to try to meet as many people as you can all the time. Never close that door. You don't have to be excitable all the time and be that gregarious person to be successful. Oh gosh, no. It's just, do you do it with your heart? I mean, like right now, you can tell that I really enjoy this. Like right now, I like doing this. So and that's another thing, folks, when you're on phone calls and when you're on these calls with your customers or colleagues, you got to get excited. You got to love what you do. I've never had a job in my life. I've never had a job in 35 years. You got to find that love and that passion. And you know what? It's a piece of cake because you love what you do. So, but yeah, I think that you can, take those small baby steps, those small skills and it just takes one person at a time. My wife's a lot different today than she was 5. She's been doing this now for 10 years. When she was scared shitless. Sorry, my language. And now today she is, doing a great job. So hope that helps.
It does. Thank you.
Well, it does lead into my next thing. Passion. You know what they say? Most people in the country, there's a study done, that don't have any passions. I have a passion. My family, the company I work with for 35 years is a passion of mine because we take care of patients and help mankind and help the community. And I'm in northern Michigan right now, and this is God's country up here. In my opinion, it's my safe haven. I think they even said statistically it has the lowest number of COVID-19 cases per person and per county in the country. So if you're still looking to try to get away for a couple weeks and want beautiful weather, come up to northern Michigan. But it's a passion of mine. And most people don't have passions. And you got to fall in love. If you can find that what you want to do and you can fall in love, then you will, you'll never fail. Okay. If you fall in love and you love what you do so much, you will never fail.